Shalom, this is Daniel Stern and Netivyah. We're here on February 2nd and we're going to just do a whole bunch of small reports on things. There's nothing deep and intense that I want to talk about, but obviously each and every one of the subjects has its own intensity. And we'll start with the hostage deal and how it's progressing. So, of course, that was very, very intense. On Saturday, Yarden Bibas and two more were returned finally to Israel, to their families. It was very, very, very sad to see Yarden, whose wife and two sons are still in the Gaza Strip and are considered by most to not be among the living. In addition, many of his family members were killed on October 7th. So unlike many of the previous hostages who were returned to the warm and loving embrace of their family, Yarden returns to a devastated home, a devastated life, and I can't even imagine what recuperation is needed. Just pray for him that the Lord will intervene in that situation, and of course, pray that a miracle happens and that his wife and children are not, as assumed, not among the living, but may somehow yet be alive. But, I consider myself a realist. Some might consider me a pessimist. Unfortunately, I too don't hold out much hope for them. That said, the hostage deal is continuing. There are less hitches. It's going forward. And Benjamin Netanyahu is on his way to visit Donald Trump, the first international leader, head of state, to visit the new administration. That shows, of course, the closeness of the relationship between the United States and Israel, between Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu. And considering the fact that tomorrow will be the 16th day of the hostage deal, tomorrow the negotiations for the second part of the deal are supposed to commence. In theory, during the second part, the rest of the hostages are to be released, and the majority, if not all, of the Israeli forces are to withdraw from the Gaza Strip. But no negotiation has actually yet started on how it will work. That's supposed to start tomorrow, which of course makes Bibi Netanyahu's, Prime Minister Netanyahu's visit to President Donald Trump all that more important, to convey the needs of Israel, whether it's a much more intense siege on the Gaza Strip, because for the last 15 months there was no serious siege, whether it is the destruction of Hamas and to make sure they are no longer in control, whether it's the talks about what happens after. All of that will be critical to this visit. Additionally, as I mentioned a few videos ago, the Chief of Staff, Herzi Halevi, has announced that he will resign. And since then, there was talks and council taking place in the Ministry of Defense about who will take over as the new head of the Israel Defense Force. And that decision came last night. The new general in command of the Israel Defense Force will be Eyal Zamir. He is currently retired, but he will come back and take over that job. In the future, I'll give you more of an opinion about him, but I don't want to give unbased and unfounded information, so you'll have to wait for that. Beyond that, I heard today that the Lebanese media are requesting that the civilians march south towards the IDF-occupied territories in southern Lebanon, the outposts that Israel still controls, in order to shake off the yoke of oppression. So we'll see how that develops. And except for that, I just want to request that you pray for us here at Netivyah, that we are able to continue supporting the poor and the needy of Jerusalem, especially as the cost of living is going up due to the war, and that so many businesses are failing due to the war. And I pray that you give us the prayer support that we need in order to stand in the gap for Israel. God bless you all. Shalom.